What's good, YouTube family? It's your boy 8Ups Picks checking back in with another video. And in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about why the 65 game rule for NBA awards and all NBA nods is not working the way the league wanted it to, right? We just saw the reason, for this video is we just saw Cade Cunningham go down. He's got 61 games played, been relatively healthy all year long, right? And now Cade Cunningham, top 5 MVP candidate, might not even win an All-NBA award. He might not win, has no chance of winning MVP. Rest up to Cade. I hope he, heals up. He's got that collapsed lung. The game's not the same without Cade. He's a young guy that really makes it better. The main point of today's video is just to introduce the 65 game rule, talk a little bit about its history and why it's changing the course of the league, really. So we'll go ahead and dive right into it, right? So where did this 65 game rule come from? It was a rule or change that was introduced in the 2023-2024 season to combat one thing, and that was load management. For years, one of the biggest gripes upon the NBA was the fact that these stars were sitting out for random games. And at the time, it was a huge deal, right? Stars were sitting out of random games on a Tuesday night, or if they were playing a bad team, they just were like, I don't want to play tonight. National TV matchups. We got a lot of empty feeling national TV games. Like, I remember watching wanting to see LeBron James and he's out of a game just because he felt like it. Like, no gripe to LeBron. That's just something that I remember. So the league responded in 2023, 2024 with this hard cutoff, right? You have to play at least 65 games or you're ineligible for any awards. MVP, All-NBA, Defensive Player of the Year, any major award, right? If you don't play 65 games, you're out. You can't win any of those awards. And you had to play, I think, an average of 20 minutes in those games. It made perfect sense at the time. On paper, it made perfect sense. It makes a ton of sense on paper, and it worked. Load management, we saw load management stop for a long time. So at the time, it seemed to be a fix, but I think we have to before we dive into why it sucks and what's wrong with the rule, we have to be fair to the rule first, and shout out to the league for this because it did work, and it worked in a few specific ways, right? We saw fewer random rest games from healthy stars, and there was a lot of less obvious load management nights, right? Like, whenever, and this goes for anything in life, whenever there's rules or things, people are going to find ways around them. So teams are still finding ways to load manage and do it, but it's less obvious, which I think is important to the general fan and the people that are watching. And then there's more accountability for these players who are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to show up for the average fan who is spending hundreds of dollars on tickets to watch these people play. And that was the goal. Those are the things that the league wanted to fix with this 65 game rule. And it wanted to protect their regular season product and force teams to take it serious again. I think they succeeded with it, but on a very base level. They solved, I like to think of it as they solved the symptom, but not the cause, if that makes sense. I think the biggest flaw in the rule is pretty simple. And this is really just what it boils down to for me, is it treats injuries and it treats load management the exact same. Because we were trying to stop load management, and we now are trying to stop players from being injured. That's the biggest flaw in the rule. It's simple. It treats injuries and load management the exact same. That's where things are going wrong, right? They created the rule to stop players from sitting, but most games today are not voluntarily anymore. These people are not playing because of injuries. So if they're injured and mid-playing, like Cade Cunningham, 61 games, then I think Cade getting injured is going to be what does it for the league to realize that this is flawed, because the injuries are rising due to just more physical strain. 82 game schedule. These are things that we've seen in history. And that's why these players are getting injury, right? So instead of solving the problem of load management, the league pretty much told their players the most important part of the league: if you get hurt, that's on you, and you can't win any awards. And I think now is where we're seeing the consequences, right? It's happening right now today. Cade Cunningham, Jokic is one game away from no awards, no accolades. One of the greatest offensive players we have ever seen. Second in MVP voting, or top 2 to 5, no accolades at all. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's couple games away from no MVP. At one point in the season, it was a question who's going to win MVP if it can't be Jokic, Shai. Wemby, couple games away. Luka, couple games away. These are 4 best players in the NBA. And I like to think of these 4 guys especially Shea and Wemby, as people who are suiting up and giving their best every single night, regardless if they're playing the Utah Jazz or regardless if they're playing the Spurs or Thunder, right? These are guys that want to be on the floor. They're young. They want to be out there. Jokic makes the Nuggets a lot better. He wants to be out there with his team. Luka is not load managing like we've seen in the past. Like, he's playing in games, and the Lakers are now in a 10-game win streak, I believe, because of Luka Doncic. So these are all the 4 best players in the world right now are all in danger of losing eligibility for simply missing too much games, not due to load management, but due to injury. And they're not like major injuries. Like, Shea had an abdominal strain, missed a couple games, and now he might not win MVP. We're going to take away one of the greatest offensive performances, or really any type of performance, away from Shea. We're going to do the same to Jokic and Wemby and Luka. Cade Cunningham took a terrible, worst in the league Pistons team to first in the East, and is going to get absolutely, on paper, get no recognition. In the history books, going to get no recognition. So they're not just, like, these people aren't just out of the races. They are erased from whatever awards they might get. And it doesn't just stop with these. We're talking about the key superstars. We're talking about 5 superstars right now, but it's also going to impact everything. It's going to impact all defensive teams, most improved player candidates, rising stars trying to get to that next level. It's not just about the top of the league. To the normal fan, it is, right? These major guys are out, but it's also impacting the entire ecosystem. So, I mean, it's a tough one, right? Another thing that is interesting to me is Victor Wembanyama is one of the best players in the league. He's about to be he's finishing year 3 now, right? And gonna have 0 accolades to his name. No Rookie of the Year. Vic won Rookie of the Year. I'm tripping. He had to. Yeah, he won Rookie of the Year. I'm tripping. That's on me. That's gonna be the only accolade to his name. He's going to have no All-NBAs, no DPOYs when he deserves 3 of them, quite frankly. So that's something crazy to think about. We're wiping away Victor Wembanyama's first 3-4 years of his career because of injuries. And I don't know how many times Vic is going to play 65 games in a season, quite honestly. It's just going to be pretty hard for him to do that. That kind of leads me into my next point, though, is a guy like Victor Wembanyama early in the season was hurt. And thinking about this 65-game rule so far in advance in the season that he rushed back to play these 20-minute restrictions. And we see him go down again for a couple more games. Then he comes back in. He's barely playing. He's just playing to hit this 65-game rule. We're forcing Victor Wembanyama and other guys in the league to play like these small minutes just for a 65-game rule. We're rushing our guys back and increasing their chances of getting hurt. We got people rushing back from these injuries only to get re-injured again. And that's another thing that really upsets me about the 65-game rule is these players want these awards. These matter a lot to these players. They matter a lot to the history books and to the records. But if we're forcing guys to play to qualify for this when they're injured, it only ups the risk of our players and our products of the league, like that we see all the time, getting injured again. This stuff matters a lot to someone like we see Wemby's crying tears in regular season games. Like, he wants these awards. He's gonna try to play even if he knows he shouldn't, right? So that's just my thought on it too, is rushing back to play doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try to get these awards. Well, it does for the player standpoint, but as a league to make these players play in order to win these awards, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, when elite players are getting disqualified, someone else has to take their spots. Like, that's already happening. We've already seen that. Players who normally wouldn't be in these award conversations are now climbing the ladder just because they've played more games. Like, Cade Cunningham was an MVP. No disrespect to Cade. He's not an MVP in the league at this point in time. He's just not. He's a candidate. He deserves to be talked about it. And, he can be in the conversations. He has not done enough to win MVP this season or anywhere in his career. So entire award races, such as MVP, are shifting towards different players because we're scared that Shea or Jokic or Luka might not hit the 65 games. So I think another bigger problem that this arises, right, is the 82-game season. Is that the real issue? Is 82 games at a faster pace, more physical demands than ever, instead of addressing something like that on the grand scheme of things that people have came out and complained about? They added a rule on top of it to try to make these people play as like a band-aid to a bigger problem. That's something that I saw get talked about, is the 82-game schedule. So that could be another thing that Just pointed out here. But all in all, man, I think the 65 game rule when it was introduced had the right idea. But now this year more than ever, we're seeing it affect the league pretty bad. Like I think it was Draymond Green. Draymond Green said on his podcast, which shout out to Draymond, but Draymond, he said on his podcast like Giannis would be out of an MVP and LeBron James would be out of MVPs. Them two guys have won MVPs and not played 65 games. Had crazy seasons. This is LeBron on the Heat and Giannis at the peak of the Milwaukee Bucks. Like no MVPs for these guys because they played 62 games. I think Giannis played 62, Bron played 61, which is close. But if it was today, that neither one of them would have an MVP trophy sitting at home. Well, they both would because they won it multiple times, but they would be missing that specific one, right? So I don't know. It just feels like a Band-Aid to a fix, and it worked for a little bit, but it's time to fix it. It's time to do you take it away altogether? What do you do to fix it, right? And that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't have a solution for the NBA. If I did, I'd probably be getting paid a lot of money. They should hire me for real. If they started giving me some money, I would lock in. I would come up with something. Yeah, I was 65 rule game. It did something. It makes players show up more. We're not seeing as much load management, but to me it introduced a system that penalizes injuries, changes these history books and award races, and reshapes how the league operates as a whole. It's still early, so I don't think we've seen the long-term effects of it yet. But this season is really the season that we're starting to see those effects of this rule. So let me know in the comments down below, man, if you think the 65 game rule is good for the league or does it need to be changed, or if you have any restructures to the rule or anything like that. Let me know what you think. So made it this far in the video, man. As always, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in with me. We got plenty more to come. NBA season's winding down, but content's not going to stop, man. We're going to keep rolling. At least 2 videos a week for sure. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and keep locking in with me, man. I appreciate you.